What if what's actually missing is confidence or purpose or direction? Garrett and I are building a new program for men, and we're stuck on a question. Which of these matters the most? That's what we're debating today.
Yeah, so we're building an intensive to guide you in finding your purpose, living with confidence, and knowing your direction, where you're headed. So, one thought we had for naming this thing is the Masculine Confidence Intensive. But when we started looking at surveys, things are coming up. Definitely purpose is really important. Confidence, it's kind of in like a different category, and direction is really important. So we're thinking about how to name this thing. What's most important and what do men really need most?
Yeah, guys, that's what we're looking for. And perhaps it would help. We should define these terms so we're all talking about the same thing. So when we talk about confidence, it's big. It's knowing you can come through as the man you're supposed to be in the moment. You can come through when it counts, when everything's on the line, okay? So just feel that for a minute and just go like, oh, I would give anything to come through every single time. So purpose is knowing what on earth you're here for. In other words, who does God intend me to be? Why am I here? What am I doing? Okay. And then direction is, well, where am I headed in life?
Yeah. Well, and where do men confuse confidence and purpose and direction? Like thinking that these things are found inside of jobs and your career.
I see this all the time with men. And it's like we introduce ourselves, we're at a gathering or something like that, and we identify ourselves by what we do.
Mhm.
But, and I was just talking with a good friend of mine, he's in his 30s, mid 30s. So a lot of his buddies, and him included, are asking, is this all there is? I mean, they've been working, say, 10, 15 years, and they're at that place, and they're looking at like another 35, 40 years of working, and they're going like, is this it? Do I just grind it out, then I retire, and then I die?
Yeah, I really know what you mean there. We've kind of been trained to like, if we want to get to know somebody, and if we're asked about ourselves, we answer with what we do, right? And that starts to mess with your head, I think, because what you do is not the truest part about you, and your purpose isn't found inside of what you do. So I definitely
we
see
think that's true, though. We feel, because it's the only place for some men, and actually, I think it's a lot of men. The only place they have success and they're respected is at work. Is that all there is?
Right. Well, yeah, if that's what you're good at and that's where you're confident, that's what you would want to talk about, especially with strangers, right? People that you don't know and you want to make a good first impression on, and you want to come off well or something. I'm going to talk about what I know and what I'm good at. And that's usually what you do, but that's not necessarily the deepest, truest part about who you are. But I think we start to kind of trick ourselves into thinking that it is. And then we're mistakenly looking for that level of purpose inside of our jobs and what we do. And that creates this like lack of purpose. And like you were describing, George, like, is this all there is for the next 15, 30 years of my life?
Right.
Well, yeah.
And I think the other thing with all this is, can you have one without the other? So what I mean by that is, can you have purpose but not have confidence and not have direction, or direction but not have purpose, not have confidence? You're younger than my friend, but you're right there in the middle of this with these guys. What do you think?
I think that men, and me included, I think we feel like if we had a lot of clarity on our purpose, that would help us move with confidence. That would increase our confidence because we know, like, yes, this is my purpose and I'm going to go after this because I know this is what I'm on earth for. And I think that would give us direction, because now we're like, I know where I'm going because I'm very confident in what my purpose is.
Well, do they want purpose because they lack purpose?
Well, yeah, it's a good question. I think sometimes, yes. I think they feel like it's kind of like the guys that you were talking about. It's like, is this all there is? I think that's a lacking purpose kind of question and statement to make about your life. But I think it's also a lack of confidence of, well, I think I'm living into my purpose, but on a day-to-day level, I don't know. And if I am living into my purpose, am I doing it with the right avenues? Am I reaching people the right way? Because I could live into my purpose this way, or this way. And it's like, how do I do this?
Okay. Or think about it this way. Is it they lack the confidence to pursue what they already know about their purpose? Early on in college, I was studying accounting. Okay. Fortunately, I changed majors because I am not an accountant. I'm a finance guy. I'm not an accountant guy. Okay. And nothing against accountants. I'm just not one. All right. But I think what happens is a lot of guys get trapped into one career or job, and that's all they know. But they know that's not their purpose, but then they're sort of stuck there and they lack the confidence to change. Where I'm going with this is confidence or purpose.
Right. Well, to me, it seems like if purpose comes first, it would help you to have the confidence to make those kinds of shifts, right? To be like, yeah, I like finance, but I'm not an accountant. Like being an accountant isn't my purpose. So if a man knows his purpose, I think that gives him confidence to make those little lane changes, so to speak, to really go after your purpose and live into your purpose well. What do you think, George?
Maybe we're getting into a chicken and egg kind of thing here. Which comes first? I'm on the confidence side of this thing because I think if you've got confidence, so go back to my definition. If you've got confidence that you're going to have what it takes. Now, we all have different skills and passions and talents and abilities, okay? So what purpose in life looks like for you is going to be different than anybody else. And I think our purpose is as unique as our fingerprints, okay? And I also don't think your job is your purpose, although you might find your purpose. It might be monetizable in the form of a job or career or an entrepreneurial endeavor. And I'm big on entrepreneurs, as you guys know. But I just think if you don't have confidence, you can have all the purpose in the world. You know what I think it's like? I think confidence is the gas in the tank. So you've got this beautiful car called purpose. I mean, you pick the make and the model or truck, and it's shiny and it's bright. It's got all the bells and whistles, but you don't have any gas. It isn't even going to go out of the driveway.
Right. Okay, well, let me ask this, though.
How's that for an argument? Pretty solid, right?
It's pretty solid. But let me ask you this.
All right.
If I gave a man complete confidence tomorrow, so gas in the tank, right? Is he going to automatically find his purpose, know where to drive that car?
Well, knowing where to drive the car is direction. But what you're really asking is, can he find the keys to the car?
Yeah.
Of course, it just, as you ask the question, I'm like, oh, yeah, but you've got to have a car to put gas in. If you don't have a car, okay, so no. No, he's not going to automate just because you have confidence. I can come through, purpose. Yeah, I don't know. I don't. Okay.
So
if you're keeping score at home, give one to Garrett.
Chalk one up on my side. But to be fair, I'll ask the question about my side about purpose.
All right.
So if I give a man complete purpose tomorrow, would he automatically be confident?
If you gave someone, he had his complete clarity on purpose, will he automatically become confident? I'm going to say a little, because I think knowing your purpose feeds your confidence. I think it's one of the things that contributes to confidence, but I think there's also identity.
Yeah.
And purpose comes out of identity. So we didn't even bring this up. So I'm going off the debate of the three, and I'm bringing in a fourth one to, get in a punch. I'm going to say a little. I'm going to say, yeah, if you've got clarity of purpose, it's going to boost your confidence. And I think here's what goes on. I think for some men that they get clarity of purpose, or at least a season of their life, and they get clarity of purpose, and their confidence comes up, and they think they've arrived because the confidence is so good and it's so much more than what they had. But what most men don't know is what you could have. And you're living at a level of low confidence, but it feels high because it's so much more than what you had before.
Right. It's just in comparison, it's so much more, but there's a lot more you could actually have.
Right.
Yeah. Well, it makes me think of movies actually, like a lot of the movies that I love where there's this man and maybe he knows his purpose, but he doesn't have the confidence to just charge right in and be the guy that can come through and live well into his purpose. But that's kind of the hero's journey.
I actually have a great example of this. It's The Secret Life of Walter Mitty. Walter Mitty knows his purpose. He has to go find negative 19? Negative.
Yeah, I think so.
Some number. He's got to go find this negative. He works for Life magazine, and this is going to be the final cover. He knows his purpose. He has zero confidence in himself to be able to go travel all over the world to track down the photographer who took the picture.
Right.
And we put this in our Trek Talks. Look below in the discussion and you can click. We're starting to build these Trek Talks. And so you can get a link to those. They're going to be great. We've got one up already, a couple more on the way. So check those out. But Walter Mitty is a perfect example of a guy who, now it's a short purpose. Okay. It's a purpose to just go find this negative. Mission accomplished. If he gets the photograph negative, but he doesn't have confidence. That's not exactly what we're talking about in the sense of purpose in life, but I think it illustrates it to some extent.
Yeah, I think so. Well, it's making me think of other characters too, where they have confidence, but they're not really living into their purpose very well.
Oh, so you're going to flip this back on me?
Yeah. So what do you think about that? I mean, can a man be confident but still be completely lost?
Yeah, what's coming up for me is true confidence or false confidence. Because I think a lot of men have false confidence and it's a bravado. And it's this awful image of men who are chest pounding, look at me, and I'm tough, all that. That may not be true confidence, okay? A lot of times we see that, we go like, yeah, that's just fake. He's a poser. He's not really confident. Well, that's not exactly true because he might be really confident that he can beat the crap out of you, okay? And you can kind of feel that. You go like, I think this guy, I think he's confident about that. I'm not going to mess with him. So they've got all this bravado, but they don't have anywhere to go with it. It just kind of goes every direction and they're a mess. It's not focused. Does that make sense?
Yeah. Well, in movies and in life, like we see guys who kind of have that confidence, that bravado about them. But then in the movies, when they really need to come through in something that's important and something that matters, they don't. It's because it's a false confidence that they've been living with. So in the beginning, you're kind of like, man, yeah, this is a real kind of man. He's got confidence. I wish I had some of that confidence. I could live with that. But then as the story goes on in the character's journey, and he really has to come through in something that is hard, something that matters, a lot of times he doesn't. And it's exposing to that was a false confidence, like you were talking about, George.
Yeah, and I can just imagine right now, there are guys screaming at the YouTube going, what about direction?
Oh, yeah.
So, like, does direction create confidence?
Well, yeah. I mean, or does confidence create direction?
Yeah. So I'm thinking about it like, okay, let's keep directions knowing where you're headed. Okay, so let's keep it like, let's go back to our car. I'm headed to Dallas. Okay, I'm on the road. I'm pretty confident. I've got a full tank of gas. I got my new shiny car, and boom, I'm going to get there and I know where I'm going. Now, once I get to Dallas, I may not know what I'm going to do there. So I've got to have some purpose to know why I'm headed to Dallas. Well, on your larger question, does confidence create direction? I've got to go. I don't think so. I'm trying to think about scenarios and I'm not coming up with anything that says, okay, yeah, I think you've got confidence, you're going to have direction,
Mhm.
but I'm not so sure confidence can create direction.
Okay. Yeah. Well, man, let's
All
go
right.
at this a little bit different way.
Let's
Which
Hey,
hurts
wait,
more?
wait, let me say, guys, we're thinking this out loud. All right. So
Yeah.
be throwing stuff in the comments as we're going here because we need your help on this.
Yeah. So let's go at it a little bit different way.
All right.
So which hurts more?
All right.
Not knowing where you're going
All right.
or knowing exactly where you're going, but then not believing that you can get there?
Wow. Okay. Well, that question actually just hurts.
Yeah.
And here's why. It's very personal right now. I'm working on structuring this intensive that we talked about, right? The confidence intensive. I've got immense confidence I can do this intensive. And I know this intensive will produce results because I've seen this happen in men's lives over and over and over again. But I lack confidence. Can I actually get there? And what I mean by that is, yeah, I can create this thing, but will anyone do it? Will anyone buy it? Will anyone go for it? Will anyone invest the time and money and energy to do this? And so as I'm doing it, I'm going like up and down and up and down and up and down on, I don't know, is this going to work kind of a thing?
Yeah, I know what you mean. We're struggling with the things that men struggle with to create the intensive that
Right. And here's the thing. The man who just won the Canadian Open, all right, and he's like 37 years old, I think. He has 15 years in the PGA, never won a tournament. Okay. Now, I did check his earnings for the year. He's at like $1.9 million. So you can make a lot of money in the PGA and never win. Okay. But they kept talking about how he had been in this automobile accident, and I don't know how far back, but while he was in the PGA, totally set him back. It took him a long time to do the rehab and get out of the pain and everything that went on. And finally, he wins his first tournament after 15 years. Now, this is what we're talking about, okay? Life comes at us hard. And did he have confidence? No, at one point, he lost his confidence that he could ever do the PGA again and be a pro golfer. I mean, so his confidence is going up and down, just like I'm talking about. And I was listening to the story and I was really tuned in. In a different way, I'm going through something similar.
Yeah.
And so the intensive isn't going to be this magic cure, but what it's going to do, it's going to equip you with getting through this stuff.
Yeah, exactly. So I love the golfer example, George, because it's like, yeah, he has his purpose. He knows his purpose. He's a golfer. He wants to play at a high level. He wants to win. He wants to compete, right? But the direction of getting there is really hard. Rehab, trying to build back up, which is frustrating and really hard. And can he even do it? Will he be able to do it? What's going to happen? How's this story going to turn out? And it's really awesome. It turned out really well for him. But yeah, I think he definitely knew purpose. I think he had some direction, like I'm going to rehab my way back up to being able to do that. But confidence is fluctuating. And I wonder, just as we're talking this out, if confidence is it like the umbrella?
Yeah. Or is it what undergirds? And that's why I went with the confidence intensive. But lately I've been wondering about, okay, well, wait a minute, like you, is it like overarching the whole thing? Or is it the support, or is it the thread that runs through everything? Because maybe we do, like, we break this apart into some pieces, like the purpose finder intensive, okay? Or the direction mapping intensive. So I think confidence is maybe could be the foundation, but that's why we're having this whole conversation or debate to figure out, like, well, what works and how does it work? And we need you guys to help us out on this. So again, comments, ideas, we will respond.
Yeah, we need some help with this because we have something really amazing figured out. Guys, this is like it's a virtual CrossFit gym for helping you, to guiding you in finding your purpose, understanding who you are, moving into that purpose, becoming a man who can come through when it matters for your work, your passions, your calling, your family, your wife, your kids, whatever it is. But yeah, we got to sort this out. And we need some help from you.
Yeah. So let's do a gut check, Garrett. When were you most alive as a man? And what I want to know in that is what was present? Okay. Confidence, purpose, or direction?
I think for me, one of the longest times and I really felt alive as a man was actually right when I was beginning to plan and build Ninja Park, which was an obstacle fitness gym. And that was an entrepreneurial endeavor that I was doing and taking on. And, the purpose was like, yeah, I'm so excited to do this. I'm building these obstacles, we're finding a building, we're starting to put it together, and we have, just using just buying some of the, it was so fun, so exciting. And I knew why I was doing it. I loved and still do love to come alongside people in a journey of transformation, of overcoming challenges and obstacles in their life and becoming better and more equipped, honestly, just becoming more of who they're meant to be. So I had purpose and I had direction. I'm going to do this through an obstacle gym. The confidence piece, okay, yes, I had confidence, but like I said, I had confidence probably because I hadn't been just utterly beaten down by the world yet. And trying to do something that I'm passionate about and trying to just offer something that could have a really positive impact, something from deep in my heart, something that is true about me, and put it out to the world. A lot of things went really well. We had some really big wins, but it was a very humbling and difficult experience too.
Yeah. So it sounds like purpose was the leading thing that got you going.
Yeah. I think so. I think that's why I'm leaning toward purpose in this debate.
Yeah, that's interesting because when I'm most alive as a man, it's when I'm creating, okay? And it's often hard, but it's like, and I'm creating solutions, answers to problems, to guide men, to help men, and a lot in business. I've done a whole lot there as an entrepreneur. And I've got to say it's confidence is the most present because I've got the experience. I know I can create it. That I am completely confident in. I don't have confidence in the, doing the marketing well or whatever. There's pieces I'm missing. I need men who have confidence in those areas to come alongside us. And we are a team. That's why it's not a solo thing. And it does tie to purpose. Now, it's taken me years to get that clear, but I am zeroed in now that, for example, this intensive is absolutely dovetail into purpose, and I'm very clear on where we're headed. And part of that is because I've helped other men get clear on where they're headed. So, yeah, but I've got to go with confidence. And I think this is revealing just listening to us both talk, because that's why I started with the confidence intensive. You're leaning more to the purpose intensive. But what do you guys think?
Well, yeah, George, just in talking it out with you, hearing what you're saying, I mean, maybe the real answer isn't confidence, purpose, or direction. I mean, maybe they're connected, right? Because purpose tells you why. Like in my story, I knew why I wanted to do this obstacle gym. Mm-hmm. The direction tells you where. It's like, I'm going to live into this purpose by doing this, right? And the confidence helps you move, because if I didn't have any confidence to do it, I wouldn't have done that.
Here's what Garrett and I really want to know. If you could choose only one, confidence, purpose, or direction, which one would you choose and why? Put it in the comments. We're going to read everyone. We're going to be responding.
Yeah.
And if enough of you guys can respond, we'll do a follow-up episode and discuss what the audience said. Heck, we might even do our first live. So we're a small channel and growing. We'd love for your input on this, because this intensive's important and your input will help shape it. And if you want more on purpose, confidence, and direction, check out this video from the month of May. And until next time, may you live truly free.